Welcome to the main event of the Spring Championship of Online Poker. This time, it's the $10,300 high tournament, the richest online poker tournament of the year. First prize, a staggering $1.3 million with a total payout of $6.9 million. An awesome showpiece tournament to conclude this Scoop Festival. All the final 9 players are guaranteed a 6-figure payout. We'll bring you the details on those in a moment, but first, let me introduce our expert. We insisted on the best. A Triple Crown winner. That kind of level. So they went over to England and begged EPT, WPT, and WSOP champ Jake Cody to join us. And luckily, he said yes.
Hello, David. Great to be back. I'm very pumped to see this final table. Cannot wait.
Jake, feast your eyes on those payouts. That first prize, it's more than you won at EPT Deauville.
Yeah, I mean, these prize pools are just insane for Scoop. It still staggers me that you can win this amount of money just playing online poker.
We're at hand 31. You'll notice that we're already 7-handed here. Imran Ladakh and Hello Toddy were eliminated in 10th and 9th place respectively during hand for hand. And then we lost Abini on hand number 5. Abini, by the way, qualified online for this event, spinning it up to a lifetime best cash of $156,000. Let's get right into it. Sean Deeb, yes, that Sean Deeb, raises on the button. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000. Lasagna M, our chip leader, decides to 3-bet. Back over to Deeb.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's opened the button with 9s here, very standard. Lasagna's decided to 3-bet with ace-queen, again, very standard. And then it looks like Deeb has 4-bet here.
He has.
Which, I think with the other short stacks around on the table, I think it's a bit of a disaster for him to bust now, and I think he probably should just flat this pre-flop.
Deeb with the 4-bet. Deeb does call off, and it's Deeb's tournament life on the line. This is hand 31.
I mean, once he's 4-bet, he obviously has to go with it.
You're not 4-betting to fold, and unfortunately for Sean Deeb, there's the ace. Ace 10-8. Deeb looking for a 9 or running cards, and now just a 9. It's the queen of diamonds.
And it's sad to see Sean go, really. It would have been great to see him get a bit deeper.
Sean Deeb gone in 7th place. Earns himself $225,000. Scott Seaver, by the way, mentioned that this was the most entertaining final table I've ever watched.
I have to say, I completely agree. It was a fascinating final table. I was hosting it live, and there were just so many great pots, and I'm excited to see what some of the players had, in fact.
Lasagna raising with jacks. You mentioned hosting. What exactly does that entail?
So I'm there just as representing Pokerstars as the team pro and just helping the players along if they have any questions or if they'd like to talk about a deal later. I help along with the payouts and things like that.
Maroon Lime all in with ace-queen. Pretty sure Lasagna is going to call this.
For sure.
And when you say you answer any questions, advice?
Well, not strategy advice, but if they have any questions about the tournament or the payouts, or if they'd like any help with any kind of deal making, that's what I'm there for.
That's too bad for me. I was hoping I'd have Jake Cody in my ear whenever I possibly make a final table. Ace on the turn and Maroon Lime looking to double up. And he will double up. 8 of diamonds on the river, $1.8 million in front of him now. That is going to knock down Lasagna M to $1.3 million. Yeah, it is huge. I was remiss in saying earlier, Sean Deeb, by the way, 5 Scoop victories, $5.8 million lifetime. This guy plays in the biggest games in the world. Just another phenomenal run for Sean Deeb.
I mean, he's a legend of the game. There's no doubt about that.
Kumari Oy raising with ace-jack suited. Lasagna is going to call. Lasagna very active so far.
Lasagna is one of those players. He's incredibly unpredictable, and you really don't know what's coming next with him.
His name, Mustafa Kanit. He's earned $2.8 million lifetime. He has a W Coupe and a Scoop title to his name, and in fact, he actually won a $50K turbo in Monaco just a couple of months ago, right?
That's right. I mean, he's on a sick run right now. I'm sure his confidence is through the roof.
Neither player going to love this flop, right?
No, I mean, obviously they both flopped a gut shot, but neither of them have a spade, so they're not very happy about it, really.
Kumari probably a little bit happier here, as it goes check-check on the flop, but he turns the jack.
Great turn for him.
Lasagna drawing dead to a chop.
I really don't think Lasagna achieves much by betting here, unless he wants to just try and bet twice to try and get him to hold a better hand, but I think most better hands are going to call him here.
Well, Lasagna does bet. Kumari calls. Pot now just a little bit under 400,000 chips. River doesn't look to change much.
No, I can't imagine Kumari's going to fold to any bet here.
Kumari, by the way, looking for his second title of the Scoop 2015 Festival. He won the $700 No Limit Heads Up title. Also won over $128,000 in the 5K PLO side event at last October's EPT London.
Wow, that's quite a hero from Lasagna there.
A little bit ambitious.
I'd say it's pretty ambitious. I mean, he's basically hoping Kumari has king queen with a spade. They decided not to see bet the flop.
Blind 17,500, 35,000 as we continue on. I am Bobby raising with ace-6 offsuit.
Yeah, pretty loose open, especially with Lasagna behind him and Eisenhower in position.
We don't have much information on I am Bobby, and that's strange because normally in the 10K high events, we normally know all the players.
Yeah.
Eisenhower all in with ace-king. Now, this would be for Lasagna's tournament.
Yeah, but I think Jack's just way too strong to fold here.
Well, Lasagna does call with the jacks. You have to imagine I am Bobby will fold. Eisenhower won, by the way. That is Christian Jeppsson of Sweden. He's earned $6.7 million lifetime.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, Eisenhower.
135 online victories?
Wow.
That's insane.
And here we go, classic flip.
Well, it's not a flip anymore. How about top set for Lasagna? Eisenhower drawing dead, 2 running cards, and now drawing dead. Lasagna with the full house. He'll double up to $2 million. And Eisenhower won down to 151,000. Eisenhower won prefers to beat up on the middle range tournaments. Seems to work very nicely for the highly profitable player.
Yep.
Get a raise here from Maroon Lime with the Ducks.
Yeah, and Eisenhower real short in the big blind. King Jack probably going to have to go with this.
Once again, Jake Cody, Triple Crown winner alongside me. There are 5 Triple Crown winners in all. Can you name the other ones?
Yes.
I'm not asking you, Jake. I'm asking our audience.
I can name all of them for sure.
I'll reveal it later. Or better yet, I'll have you reveal it. Eisenhower all in with King Jack. Needs help here. Deuce is still in the lead. And continue to be in the lead. 6 outs with the river card to come. That's not going to help him, though. Ace of Hearts on the river, and Eisenhower won. He is gone in 6th place. Once
Just
again,
like that.
Yeah, Christian Jeppsson gone in 6th. He earns himself $294,000, though.
It's not too shabby, is it?
Not at all. Hand 65, this is what it looked like. Kumari Oi is our chip leader, and a sizable lead at that, and he's just adding to it with $5.6 million. You've been in situations like this where you're the overwhelming chip leader. How does it feel? Does it change the strategy?
It definitely changes the strategy because you want to be punishing the other players now, accumulating chips, like winning all the small pots, and basically just trying to increase your chip lead as much as possible so you've got a dominating chip lead when you get to heads up.
Maroon Lime picks up kings. Kumari Oi is going to 3-bet with 8s. Maroon Lime, by the way, that is Emil Patel, an online poker pro, probably best known for being a cast member of the show 2 Months, $2 Million.
Yep.
Were you a fan of that show?
I was a big fan of that show, actually. I was a little bit sad that it finished.
Patel won over $128,000 in a PLO side event at last year's October EPT London.
And he's decided to slow play the kings there, which I quite like because you'd expect Kumari to be pretty light here a big amount of the time. So I think it's definitely good to just play in position with this hand.
Give your opponent enough rope to hang himself,
Exactly,
huh?
Yeah.
In this case, Kumari actually has a hand.
Yeah. I mean, if you could see his hand, he would definitely just try to get it in pre-flop. But I think as an overall strategy, it's definitely more lucrative to just flat call.
Kumari bets $136,000 into $399.
Yep, gone for a small c-bet on a pretty dry board.
Maroon Lime calls. Sizing these days so small compared to what it was just 7-8 years ago.
You're right. It's funny how poker changes and the trends change. I think there's kind of like quite a copycat thing in poker where people will see other players do things and then they'll start doing it too.
Kumari picks up a gut shot to go along with his 8s. So now looking for a 7 or an 8 on the river if he gets there.
And now Maroon I think he just wants to bet here now. There's obviously a lot of bad river cards for him with the free card straight on board. So he definitely just wants to protect his hand and get some value too.
He bets $272,000. Now you mentioned people copying trends, so forth and so on. How important is it for a poker player to stay ahead of those trends?
Yeah, I think that's just so important. You need to be constantly working hard at your game and just seeing what other people are doing and trying to create strategies to exploit them.
Action on Kumari. And he is going to check call. Pot now 1.2 million.
I think with the gut shot too, definitely has the call there.
Backdoor clubs gets there. There is a one-liner to a straight. I mean, a 3 would give either player a straight, but unlikely that either player has a 3 in their hand.
Very unlikely, yeah.
Kumari checks. Easy value bet for Maroon, right?
Yeah, I think he's got less than pot left now. I think just shoving is probably the best play. Hopefully Kumari's got a 9, or he's decided to slow down with an overpair.
Maroon Lime does move all in, and Kumari makes a nice laydown. Still over 5 million chips and still our chip leader.
Yeah, disciplined fold from Kumari there.
5-handed. In the main event high. Cost $10,300 to get in. Prize pool, almost $7 million.
Yep.
Prac 4783 all in. Came in third in the Sunday Million for a best lifetime cash of $110,000. He's going to get looked up by Ace 4.
Yeah, I think although we see he has 9s, I think you should be shoving like a wide range of hands there. And
Kumari not only 1 4 but 2 4s, and Prac in terrible shape here. Prac actually won a scoop event a few years ago for just $35,000. He is going to dwarf that here. Doesn't win another scoop title, but does take home $370,000 for his 5th place efforts.
And Kumari just increases that chip lead.
Is it a standard call with Ace 4?
Yeah, I think so. Especially, I mean, with Kumari's chip stack too, it's just, even if he loses the hand, he's still like a huge chip leader, so it doesn't really affect him too much, and it's a chance to knock a player out.
I am Bobby. Moving all in with the gap-suited connector, 10-8 spades. Lasagna calls with Ace-Jack, and a pretty ugly flop for 10-8 of spades. Running cards, not going to come, and I am Bobby is going to be gone in 4th place. From Belarus, he earns himself over $500,000, $527,000 to be exact. By the way, there has been no talk, not even a whisper of a deal.
Not even a whisper too, because I was hosting at the time. There was no deals, everyone was just getting in. It was great to watch.
A lot of fun. If you're enjoying this one, you have to check out part 1 of our Scoop main event coverage. Jake Cody was also alongside, offering his analysis on that one. You can check that out at pokerstars.tv. So
Maroon Lime's opened the button here with King 6, pretty standard, and Lasagna's defended the 9-8, which is obviously a pretty good hand to defend to win raise.
Especially when you're going to flop top 2 pair.
Yeah, I mean, if he knows that's coming.
That's why I'm the best in the business. I can see these things. I spot them. Pot's $195,000. Lasagna's going to check.
Looks like Maroon's probably going to go ahead and see bet here.
Are you check raising with 9-8 on kind of a draw heavy board like this?
I think you've got a few options here, to be honest, with 9-8. Obviously, you can go ahead and check raises. It's not going to be a mistake to do that. But I think it's actually kind of a cool hand just to call down with too, because it keeps a strong hand in your range that you're going to be calling down with. And obviously, there's a lot of turns that Maroon's going to barrel and improve his hand on try and bluff. So it's a great hand in that respect to call with.
Oh, what a turn card for Maroon Lime. It's going to it could cost him a lot of money here as he turns the king.
And there's now 2 flush draws on board, quite a few straight draws. Definitely should be betting here in Maroon's spot.
I mean, if Lasagna had a hand like Queen 10 of clubs, where he took one off, now his hand is strong enough where he could be raising, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think if he has Queen 10 of clubs, he definitely shouldn't be folding the flop. And now that actually hand makes a lot of sense to go for the check shove here.
Well, Lasagna does raise to $1.5 million. Can Maroon Lime get away from it?
No. I mean, he's not really ecstatic about this situation, but I think there's just so many draws that Lasagna can have. And he's obviously a bit of a crazy player too. I think folding top pair here would be a mistake.
Maroon Lime does make the call. He needs a king, a deuce, or a 6 on the river. And that is not a king, a deuce, or a 6, my friend. 7 of hearts on the river. Lasagna M up to $3.4 million, comfortably in second place. Maroon Lime, a distant third at $1.19 million. Blinds, though, 20,000, 40,000. They're still relatively deep.
Yeah, they're still really deep. I think the structures and these scoop tournaments are just amazing. There's so much play involved, even in the latter stages.
Kumari Oe, raising on the button. It's a min raise, 2x.
Yep.
Maroon Lime, with 2 black 8s, decides to 3-bet to $230,000.
Yeah, definitely strong enough to try and get in pre-flop here. Wow.
And Kumari says, you want to gamble? Let's gamble.
That is pretty spewy shove right there.
And Maroon Lime does call. You're not 3-betting with 8s to fold, right?
No, for sure. I mean, he'll be obviously incredibly happy to see King 8.
Even happier to see the Case 8 on the flop. Maroon Lime with a set of 8s. Kumari Oi drawing dead to running kings and now drawing dead, period. Maroon Lime will double up to 2.4 million. Kumari Oi at 4.2 million. A mistake by Kumari?
I mean, obviously, he felt like he had a read on Maroon. I felt like he was 3-bet folding too much, but I think King 8 off especially is pretty ugly. I think that's a bit of a spew off there.
Lasagna raising on the button. Maroon Lime with the 3-bet, and what a time to wake up with Cowboys.
And this was the following hand. So I remember watching this live. So there's just been the King 8 hand, and now the button's gone to Lasagna, and now this is the very next hand. Maroon's 3-bet the small blind, and he's picked up kings.
So we talk about
dream scenario for him.
I was going to say the psychology of poker. I mean, you just lost a big hand.
Yeah.
The perception is that maybe you are on tilt, or maybe you're spewing, and then you pick up kings.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's just spewed off of King 8, and now he's gone raised 3-bet, and he's got kings. It's just a huge situation for him, and obviously he's gone for the 4-bet. And it's kind of in Maroon's spot now. It's kind of like, oh, has this guy really got it now?
In a vacuum, it seems like a fairly easy fold, but if you're watching this,
yeah, with the dynamic, it's definitely not an easy fold, but definitely not a standard fold too.
Maroon Lime does make the call. He's a 2-1 dog.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting such a great price that I actually don't mind this. I think actually kind of like it.
Well, he flops a pair of 4s. He's got backdoor spades. He's first to act, and he checks.
Yeah, he's got 2 times the pot. He's got 2 million chips. There's already 1 million in there. Significant pot for him, really. I think if Kumari does bet here, I think he probably should just go with it. And just pray he doesn't get snapped.
Kumari bets 444,000 back over to Maroon Lime.
Yeah, I think once he has that price pre-flop to call and then gets this flop, it's just one of those annoying situations where he probably has to go with it. And he does.
He goes with it. He puts his tournament life on the line, all 2 million chips. Kumari's not going to fold. He makes the call.
Snap call.
And this pot is 5 million chips. Maroon Lime at risk. Once again, that is Emil Patel. And there's a 4. 4 of hearts on the turn. And Maroon Lime now in position to double up. Kumari needed a king on the river. It doesn't come. And Kumari Oi was dominating this final table. Now he's at 1.7 million. How do you settle yourself after that?
I mean, back-to-back hands, he has the King 8, and then straight away has that brutal beat. Like, so he would have been going into heads up as a dominating chip leader. It's pretty tough for him now. He must be pretty damn tilted.
Blinds 25,000, 50,000. Maroon Lime, 7 deuce. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's free-handed. Might as well go for it.
So at this point, if you see him raising with 7 deuce, are you assuming that he's raising the top 95% of his range?
Pretty much, yeah.
Lasagna knows that as well, and he's going to 3-bet.
Yeah, he's squeezing here with ace-jack. Which I think he definitely should do.
Kumari makes the call. Pot 945,000.
It's actually such a good spot for him because especially with the dynamic of the previous hands, there's no way that Kumari is going to flat a strong hand here against Maroon Lime. He's obviously going to 3-bet him with the way they've been playing.
I like the way your brain works. Kumari checks top pair. Lasagna does have the overcards. He also has the ace of diamonds in his hand should running diamonds come.
Yeah.
And he checks it back.
I kind of like the check back there, actually. He doesn't really want to bet fold this flop with so much potential equity. And doesn't really get that many better hands to fold. Kumari's never going to fold a pair to him right now.
And he never has a bigger ace, as you mentioned.
Never has a bigger ace, for sure. And never has an overpair.
5 of hearts. Not exactly the card you're looking for if you have ace-jack.
No, it's not. I imagine Lasagna's just trying to get to showdown now, really. And is Kumari going to try and protect his hand? No, he goes...
No, he checks it. Back over Lasagna. Does he check it one more time?
I would have thought so, to be honest. The same principle with the flop. He doesn't really get a better hand to fold. Kumari's never going to fold a pair to him in this spot now, so... maybe he's gone to protect his hand here, but I think he probably should just check, try and get to showdown.
Bets 383,000, and Kumari check raises to 1.5 million. And against a player like Kumari, who's capable of doing this with top pair, also a bluff.
Exactly, yeah.
it puts you in a tough spot. Kumari up to 2.8 million, Lasagna at 3.5. Maroon Lime is our chip leader as we continue on here. Hand 139.
Yeah, Kumari decides to just protect his hand there, and Lasagna had to bet fold his equity.
Lasagna raising from the small blind. Maroon Lime makes the call. 245,000 in the pot. 10 high flop.
Great flop for Maroon here.
Yeah, both players flop a pair. It's hard to flop a pair in Holdem.
It is. And these blind against blind battles, they do get pretty funky a lot of the time because everyone's just trying to fight for the pot so hard.
It's not every day you hear the word funky in poker commentary, but Jake Cody knows how to bring it in. I like it. 83,000 from Lasagna. Action on Maroon Lime. Clearly, he's not folding. Just a question of whether he raises or flats. Yeah. He decides to raise.
Quite like the raise, actually.
So, scoop medium main event. We went into the high 200s. I want to say 270 hands or so. I don't see this one going as far.
No, they've been firing out of this one. No.
What a turn card. Lasagna catches 2 pair.
Wow. But in Maroon's spot now, the king is pretty much a brick, really. You don't really expect Lasagna to have many hands with a king in them, other than king 10, king 4, and king deuce, I guess. But I think he definitely should continue to bet for value against worse 10s and like some hero call downs.
Lasagna checks. Maroon bets. Lasagna calls.
Yeah, no reason to raise for Lasagna.
Deuce on the river. It's getting better and better for Lasagna. He's going to check one more time. If you're Maroon, though, can you get value from worse? I mean, can you get value from a worse 10 here?
I think so.
Well, he thinks so, too. He bets 1.1 million.
Yep.
Action on Lasagna, who's clearly going to check raise all in. And can you get away from it if you're Maroon now?
Yeah, I think you have to, yeah. It's just so difficult for Lasagna to have a hand that he's bluffing with. There's not really any draws that have missed that he's decided to turn to a bluff. Unless he's turned like something like 4-5 into a bluff now, which seems unlikely. I think he has to fold, unfortunately.
I'm pretty sick. Lasagna now our chip leader at 5 million. Hand 139. This is what it looked like. You can see Maroon Lime, our short stack. Lasagna, our chip leader. We're going to jump ahead a few hands. You can see that Maroon Lime vaults himself into second place. Kumari now in third place.
Chipping back up.
Exciting stuff, Kumari. Raising on the button with the ducks. Lasagna's got 5s, though. How aggressive are you playing small pocket pairs?
Obviously, it's very situational, but I think in this spot in particular, I've kind of like the free bet. You don't really want to just flat here, let the big blind in. Obviously, there's an incredibly aggressive dynamic in this final table too that Kumari could well 4-bet a fair amount, and now we can just 5-bet all in.
If you have any comments, you want to talk poker, you can tweet me at TuckOnSports. You can also contact Jake Cody.
It's Jake Cody on Twitter. That's it, just Jake, AKECODY.
Pretty simple. Jack 9-9 flop. Pot is 555,000. Neither player are going to love this flop, as a jack actually counterfeits their hand.
Exactly, yeah.
5s are, though, still in the lead.
Yeah, I think 5 should continue betting here. He's kind of just hoping Kumari folds here, though, because obviously there's a lot of hands that Kumari's going to have here that can continue. A lot of straight draws, a lot of flush draws, and just random pairs and overcards that he's not going to be folding. So the best result is just for him to fold.
Well, Kumari's going to raise. He makes it 627,000. Back over to Lasagna.
I know this is a difficult spot for Lasagna right now. Because even if you know that like Kumari's got something like Queen 8, that's even got so much equity against your hand.
Kumari's stack is also a little bit awkward. I mean, can you call here, or is it pretty much you're shoving or folding?
I think you can call and just hope he shuts down. Because maybe, like, let's say you have an incredibly strong hand here, you might just want to slow play it. It's not like you've completely capped.
Well, Lasagna takes your advice. He calls. Pot is 1.8 million. Well, if your opponent had a hand like Queen 8 where he had a gut shot and had a ton of equity, he got there.
Yep, and if Kumari does continue to fire here, I can't really see Lasagna doing anything other than folding.
Well, instead it goes check, check, and he spikes the deuce on the river.
That's so unlucky for Lasagna.
It really is.
Because I think Kumari's done with the hand after he raises the flop and gets called. I think especially on the queen run out, he's just decided, hopefully somehow beat ace king. And now he's hit absolute gin on the river.
I mean, Lasagna's just in check call mode, right? I mean, he's not going to bet this.
No, I mean, it would be kind of ridiculous to bet. It wouldn't achieve anything.
Well, he's going to bet, though. He bets 1.2 million.
Run for it. I don't really understand this bet, to be honest.
Can he get called by ace high?
I mean, I wouldn't really expect ace high to raise the flop. I think when he raises the flop, he's kind of saying he's got like a 9 or like a good jack or some kind of weird draw. So, I mean, I think by betting 5s there, he doesn't really get called by a worse hand. He's just trying to fold out a better hand, and I really don't think a better hand folds. So, it's kind of a confusing bet.
He's going to bet there. He's now the short stack. Kumari is now the chip leader. This is a very fluid situation. All three of these players have been the chip leader at one point and have been the short stack at one point.
The chips are going back and forth, and then back again, and then forth again.
7-5-3. How about top 2 for Maroon Lime and top pair for Kumari Oe? These players still relatively deep compared to the blinds, but top pair against top 2, this could get ugly for Kumari.
Could get ugly, yeah. I think again it's a similar spot with the 8-9. It's kind of obviously you can check raise, but it's kind of a cool hand to having you check call in range too, to let Kumari continue to bluff overcards or improve to a top pair.
He decides to check raise,
which obviously is fairly standard too.
If you're not check raising with 2 pair, when you decide to check raise, don't you have too many bluffs in your range?
I mean, it's kind of like a concept where you don't want to be too bluff heavy when you check raising, but also what you don't want to have such a weak range when you check call. So you do want to throw in some stronger hands that can check call down free streets like incredibly happily.
My brain hurts. Maroon Lime checks. Action on Kumari.
But yeah, so you kind of want a mixed strategy. You don't want to be bluffing too much, but also you don't want to just have such a weak range when you are calling him down.
I mean, no reason for Kumari not to think he has the best hand here, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, it looks like Maroon Lime's just got like some kind of gut shot, and he's kind of just betting for protection here.
Really small bet. He bets 200,000, and I'm always intrigued by these small bets because sometimes they induce.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he's thinking Maroon's just given up on this card, and he basically doesn't want to give a free river, so he doesn't want to check back, so he's just trying to induce something.
Well, induce or not, Maroon Lime has check raised to 848,000. Kumari, nice laydown.
Yeah, decided Maroon just couldn't be bluffing there, check raising twice, and decided to make a good fold.
We continue on. Hand 161, and Maroon Lime, this time with kings. Kumari with Doyle Brunson's favorite hand, 10 deuce.
Yeah. Although it looks kind of like a weak hand, it is a pretty standard defend here. I mean, it's actually kind of cool hand to free bet too. But it is on the weak side. Yeah,
he decides
I like
free
this
bet.
a lot.
375,000, so it's 225 back over to Maroon Lime. He is going to 4-bet.
Wow. I think it's cool to when you have a hand that's not quite strong enough to flat choose those hands to pick as free bets. So I like his play.
And Kumari Oe doesn't believe he's going to continue on. He makes it 1.58 million. What's the play if you're Maroon Lime now? Do you go with it and just assume your opponent's really strong and is going to call off?
I for sure just shove here. I mean, he's put 1.585 with just 2.7 back. I mean, I'm not really a fan of this, to be honest. I think he's put too much of his chips in.
Well, Kumari Oe forced to fold, and Maroon Lime now up to almost 6 million chips. More than half the chips in play in front of Maroon Lime. Hand 172. We mentioned about the exclusive club of players to win the EPT, WPT, and WSOP titles. Now check this out. Exclusive is the word. We mentioned earlier that only 5 people, including Jake Cody, have won this. Do you know who they are? We get a raise, we get an all-in, we get a call. Ace-10 versus Ace-9. Lasagna M is at risk. Pot is 2.5 million chips.
Wow.
And he flops the stones. It's an easy game, right? He flops the absolute stones. He will double up. Unless a 10 comes off, they can chop it.
The only thing he can do is chop.
Yep. 6 of clubs on the river, and Lasagna M doubles up to 2.5 million. So, reveal it for us, Jake. Who are the 5 Triple Crown winners?
Okay, so we've got myself, Roland DeWolf, Gavin Griffin, David Gatai, and fellow Team Pokerstars pro, Elke.
There you have it. How amazing was that when you won the Triple Crown?
Definitely the greatest moment of my poker career, if not my life, to be honest. It was just such a great moment that I really do like to relive it quite a fair amount too.
8-7 deuce flop. You can see Lasagna M open-ended with backdoor diamonds. Kumari Oi, not much there, but Jack High still the best hand.
He technically has the best hand, but Lasagna's obviously much happier about the flop than Kumari is.
Just a tad under 300,000 in there. Kumari checks, Lasagna bets. I mean, if you're going to continue on with a hand like Jack 6, is it basically check, raise, or fold?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely too weak to check call, but it looks like he's gone for it.
Well, how about the perfect card
for
Lasagna? The 4 of diamonds, not only does he turn the nuts, but he's got the flush draw to boot.
Yeah, and Kumari's going to feel like he needs to try and represent something now. Yeah.
And he does. Look at that. 318,000. So he check calls the flop to set up a play.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is the play he sets up.
I mean,
unfortunately,
of course, he's not trying to get to showdown.
Unfortunately, he's representing the hand Lasagna has.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously got the 6 blocker, so he's like, oh, it's a good spot to do this. I've got a gut shot now too. But he's literally somehow run into it.
Lasagna trying to decide, how do I extract the most value? He decides just to call. Pot's 1.1 million.
I like just calling.
Ace of spades. Doesn't look to change anything.
No.
And now Kumari going to continue betting. He bets 500,000. So we saw him 4-bet with 10 deuce. That didn't work out. Yep. Actually, 5-bet with 10 deuce. That didn't work out. Here he tries to bluff with Jack 6. That's not going to work either. Obviously, Lasagna raising with the nuts.
There's one thing you cannot deny, that he's not scared to put chips in the pot.
No, definitely not. Kumari Oi from Russia, by the way. Is that the reputation of Russians?
Yeah. Pretty fearless players. Again, a good way to describe them. They're not scared to put chips in the pot and put people under pressure in some tough situations.
Well, I assume we're going to see an all-in here. Kumari Oi raising on the button. We get a 3-bet from Lasagna. You're going with it, right?
For sure, yeah.
Standard spot. Kumari does move all in. Lasagna's going to call.
Not exactly ecstatic about it, but it's definitely too strong not to do anything other than go all in.
2.7 million. And 4 still in the lead, but a lot of cards could help Kumari. He's looking for a queen, an ace, or a 10, or now a 7. It's the king of clubs, and 4s do hold up. Kumari Oi, the Russian, gone in 3rd place. He pockets $700,000. That's right, you heard me correctly.
Insane.
That's 3rd place money. Hand 190, we are heads up. Lasagna M with about a 3-1 chip lead. He's going to expand that lead just a little bit. Almost 4-1 now.
And Lasagna's just loving life right now. Huge flip for him. He's won a few more pots since.
Queen 10, ace king. When you're the short stack heads up like this,
yeah,
what's your mindset?
Just to try and keep your head, you obviously the structure in these tournaments are so good that even though he's like a 3-1 dog here, it's not like he has to. It's not like he's in big panic mode. It's not like he's all in or fold. There's still a lot of play involved. You're just try and play his hands well and chip back up. Maybe win a flip, get back in it.
Well, it's an interesting flop. Queen high flop. All hearts out there. Maroon lime with the king of hearts. Lasagna M with top pair. By the way, these players have not made a deal. They're essentially playing for $350,000. That's the difference between 1st and 2nd.
Wow.
And of course, one of the most prestigious titles in all of poker, the Scoop Main Event High.
I mean, that's just huge.
Maroon checks. Lasagna checks it back.
Yeah, interesting.
6 of diamonds on the turn. Emil Patel with the ace king and 2 million chips. He's going to bet about 450,000.
Yeah, decides to go ahead and bet here with the 2 overcards and the flush draw. He's obviously pretty happy with his hand, but kind of doesn't want to get called here. And obviously Lasagna's going nowhere with queen.
Pot's 1.6 million. The river's the king of diamonds. So it's not a heart, but Maroon Lime had other outs, and that was one of them.
Yep. Imagine he's probably going to shove this river with just about around pot size bet left.
He does. He moves all in for 1.6 million.
And And pretty tough spot for Lasagna, this, actually.
He checked back the flop,
Yeah.
kind of disguising the strength of his hand.
Yeah, and now he's kind of underrepresented his hand, and now he's in a very difficult situation. I couldn't really fault him if he called it, to be honest.
Oh, nice laydown by Lasagna M, and he saves 1.6 million chips. Once again, that's Mustafa Kanit. We mentioned earlier that he just won a 50K Turbo event in Monaco. His best win before that was 936,000 euros in the high roller in 2013, also at EPT Monaco.
Yeah, he's been crushing these last few years. Now he's got pocket queens, heads up, obviously. Ginormous Godzilla hand here.
He's going to raise the 343,000 back over to Maroon Lime. This is hand 200. Maroon Lime calls. And if Maroon Lime flops top pair, this could be it.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't flop top pair, but he flops a pair with a straight draw.
Interesting flop.
Lasagna M with top set. You see that he's the prohibitive favorite going forward.
Yeah, I imagine Lasagna's just going to go ahead and bet here. Although he's got such a strong hand, there is a lot of bad turns for him, which changes the dynamic of the board very quickly.
Bets about 280,000 chips. Maroon Lime with a pair and a straight draw. What's the play if you're Maroon Lime?
Probably just call, to be honest. I think although he's got a strong hand, if he does decide to get it in on this flop, he's probably not going to be in very good shape.
I mean, at this point, he's got showdown value with a pair of jacks.
Yeah, sure. And he's got a lot of equity in the hand.
Quads now.
Wow. Well, he did have a lot of equity. Now he's got 0%.
It's tough to get paid off when you have quads, but in this particular spot, heads up, it's going to be difficult for Maroon Lime to get away from his hand.
It is. I think on this particular turn, Lasagna's going to be want to check a lot of his hands, so I think it's actually kind of cool to check a hand as strong as this too. And not real reason to bet for Maroon. Doesn't really want to get check raised off his hand.
He does check it back. A king or an 8 would be disastrous.
I would.
A 10 less so.
Yeah, pretty scary board for him now.
Not as scary for Lasagna. Although, unfortunately for him, it's going to be tough for him to get paid.
I think he should just go ahead and bet here and hopefully Maroon. Although the thing is, Maroon does have great blockers for all the full houses. So
Lasagna bets 947,000.
if he is going to be bluffing, this is probably the perfect hand to bluff shove with. Because he does block Queen Jack, Queen 10, Jacks, 10s.
Maroon Lime moves all in. He just moved all in. The tournament's over. Lasagna makes the call. Obviously, he is going to win the tournament. Maroon Lime finishes in second place. He takes home $950,000, but our champion, our $10,300 main event high champion is Lasagna M, and he earns himself $1.3 million. This just a couple of months after winning the 50K Turbo in Monaco. What a final table.
Wow. I mean, it was great to rewatch again, and there's some great hands. I had a great time.
The 2015 Scoop guaranteed $40 million in payouts. We shattered that with $76.5 million. And we can look at the all-time biggest payouts, and you see that the Scoop really starting to hold its own compared to the W Coupe. Lasagna M with the 6th biggest score all time here at Pokerstars. I want to thank Jake Cody for his insight and analysis. And of course, the Sunday Million is back. We've got a couple of big names joining me for commentary, so watch this space. All the highlights on Pokerstars.tv. Until next time, I'm David Tuckman. Reach for the stars. And it's Deeb's Tournament Life on the line. This is hand 31.
I mean, once he's 4-bet, he obviously has to go with it.
You're not 4-betting the fold, and unfortunately for Sean Deeb, there's the ace. Ace 10-8. Deeb looking for a 9 or running cards, and now just a 9. It's the Queen of Diamonds.
And it's sad to see Sean go, really. It would have been great to see him get a bit deeper.
Sean Deeb gone in 7th place. Earns himself $225,000. Scott Seaver, by the way, mentioned that this was the most entertaining final table I've ever watched.
I have to say, I completely agree. It was a fascinating final table. I was hosting it live, and there were just so many great pots, and I'm excited to see what some of the players had, in fact.
Lasagna raising with jacks. You mentioned hosting. What exactly does that entail?
So I'm there just as representing Pokerstars as the team pro and just helping the players along if they have any questions or if they'd like to talk about a deal later. I help along with the payouts and things like that.
Maroon Lime all in with ace queen. Pretty sure Lasagna is going to call this.
For sure.
And when you say it's more than you won at EPT Deauville.
Yeah, I mean, these prize pools are just insane for Scoop. It still staggers me that you can win this amount of money just playing online poker.
We're at hand 31. You'll notice that we're already 7-handed here. Imran Ladakh and Hello Toddy were eliminated in 10th and 9th place respectively during hand for hand. And then we lost Abini on hand number 5. Abini, by the way, qualified online for this event, spinning it up to a lifetime best cash of $156,000. Let's get right into it. Sean Deeb, yes, that Sean Deeb, raises on the button. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000. Lasagna M, our chip leader, decides to 3-bet. Back over to Deeb.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's opened the button with 9s here, very standard. Lasagna's decided to 3-bet with ace-queen, again, very standard. And then it looks like Deeb has 4-bet here.
He has.
Which, I think with the other short stacks around on the table, I think it's a bit of a disaster for him to bust now, and I think he probably should just flat this pre-flop.
Deeb at the 4-bet. Deeb does call off. Actually, he won a 50K turbo in Monaco just a couple of months ago, right?
That's right. I mean, he's on a sick run right now. I'm sure his confidence is through the roof.
Neither player going to love this flop, right?
No, I mean, obviously, they both flopped a gut shot, but neither of them have a spade, so they're not very happy about it, really.
Kumari probably a little bit happier here, as it goes check-check on the flop, but he turns the jack.
Great turn for him.
Lasagna drawing dead to a chop.
I really don't think Lasagna achieves much by betting here, unless he wants to just try and bet twice to try and get him to hold a better hand, but I think most better hands are going to call him here.
Well, Lasagna does bet. Kumari calls. Pot now just a little bit under 400,000 chips. River doesn't look to change much.
No, I can't imagine Kumari's going to fold to any bet here.
Kumari, by the way, looking for his second title of the Scoop 2015 Festival. He won the $700 No Limit Heads Up title. Also won over $128,000 in the 5K PLO side. Welcome to the main event of the Spring Championship of Online Poker. This time, it's the $10,300 high tournament, the richest online poker tournament of the year. First prize, a staggering $1.3 million with a total payout of $6.9 million. An awesome showpiece tournament to conclude this Scoop Festival. All the final 9 players are guaranteed a 6-figure payout. We'll bring you the details on those in a moment, but first, let me introduce our expert. We insisted on the best. A Triple Crown winner, that kind of level. So they went over to England and begged EPT, WPT, and WSOP champ Jake Cody to join us. And luckily, he said yes.
Hello, David. Great to be back. I'm very pumped to see this final table. Cannot wait.
Jake, feast your eyes on those payouts. That first prize, if you answer any questions. Advice?
Well, not strategy advice, but if they have any questions about the tournament or the payouts, or if they'd like any help with any kind of deal making, that's what I'm there for.
That's too bad for me. I was hoping I'd have Jake Cody in my ear whenever I possibly make a final table. Ace on the turn and Maroon Lime looking to double up. And he will double up. 8 of diamonds on the river, $1.8 million in front of him now. That is going to knock down Lasagna M to $1.3 million. It is huge. I was remiss in saying earlier, Sean Deeb, by the way, 5 Scoop victories, $5.8 million lifetime. This guy plays in the biggest games in the world. Just another phenomenal run for Sean Deeb.
I mean, he's a legend of the game. There's no doubt about that.
Kumari Oi, raising with ace-jack suited. Lasagna is going to call. Lasagna very active so far.
Lasagna is one of those players who's incredibly unpredictable, and you really don't know what's coming next with him.
His name, Mustafa Kanit. He's earned $2.8 million lifetime. He has a W Coop and a Scoop title to his name, and in fact,